like to, excuse me, I'd like to call the regularly scheduled Committee of the Whole meeting for June 3rd, 2026 to order at 6 p.m. Fields? Here. Moore is here. Murdarski?
Here.
Morris? Here. Schufelt is on her way. Westfall?
Here.
Block?
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to start this evening with the 100 Mile Club with Adam Brown, Scott Fisk, and Jennifer, am I going to say this right, Budziak?
It's Budziak.
Oh, Budziak.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Jenny Budziak, and I am the PE teacher at Moody Elementary. This is the second year for the 100 Mile Club at Moody. 60 students in kindergarten through 5th grade participated in the 100 Mile Club. 3 mornings a week from October to the middle of May, students arrived at 8 a.m. and ran, jogged, or walked until 8:20. Members logged a combined total of roughly 2,000 miles. The 100 Mile Club allowed students to start their morning being active. It also allowed them to walk or run off some before school energy. Students had fun with their friends and earned rewards for the miles they completed. Most importantly though, members of the 100 Mile Club got a head start on the long-term benefits of an active lifestyle. I would also like to thank several individuals. Without the help of parent volunteers like Evelyn Straub, Amanda Green, Jason Corby, Ashley Alderman, and Mrs. Reed, the 100 Mile Club would not be possible. Every morning, these adults encouraged and ensured the safety of our Moody Elementary students. I would also like to thank Mrs. Hernandez for her positive and continuous support throughout the year. Finally, but most importantly, I would like to recognize several Moody Elementary students who ran 75 miles or more. These students should be incredibly proud of their perseverance, determination, and hard work. I would like to start off by recognizing 3rd graders Miles Green and Izo Sankandi. Miles ran 93 miles and Izo ran 100 miles.
Stand up. Come on up so we can see your beautiful faces.
Miles.
Young man. Come around front and you can shake everybody's hand around front. How about we do that? Yeah, you stop with Dr. Hill. Stop with Dr. Hill there on the end. Good job. Congratulations, well done.
Yes, good job. Good job.
Good job. You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Miles. Good job. Miles. Go back and stand over there. Next, we have 3 4th graders that ran 75 or more miles. Jaden Miller ran 100 miles, Carter Williamson ran 101 miles, and Omar Walliver ran 80 miles.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Good job.
Well done.
Finally, tonight we would like to honor 3 5th graders who ran 75 or more miles. Kaden Bassell ran 100 miles, Ryder Green ran 80 miles, and Mia Straub ran 76 miles.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Good job. Good job.
Once again, congratulations to all the Moody students who ran 75 miles or more. You should be proud of yourselves. Thank you.
All right, great job, Claire Moody. Way to represent. Okay, before we do the Randall honorees, just a little background about the 100 Mile Club. It was started by a special education teacher in California. She had a special education classroom, self-contained, and she was trying to find a way to get the kids to feel involved, something to work toward. So nearly 40 years ago, she started the 100 Mile Club, and the kids came into school, they done laps, and kept track of their total, and here we are 4 years later, and now the 100 Mile Club has grown to service over 1 million kids in 5,000 school districts and schools around the country. So it's a pretty impressive program. Randall is in its 8th year now of the 100 Mile Club. We had 26 members who ran a total of 1,783 miles. And we have 15 members that reached 75 miles or more, okay? And we'll honor those tonight. Before I start, as I always do, I want to thank some people in particular that helped this program be so successful, starting with my good friend and teaching partner, Mr. Adam Brown. In addition, I have 2 parent helpers, and I'll ask you to please stand. Miss Julia McLaughlin. And Miss Kelly Chapman. And lastly, I want to thank my principal, who's been a never-ending support of our program, Miss Cynthia Mazzara. Incidentally, it's very appropriate that we're honoring the 100 Mile Club, since today is actually National Go for Run Day. And what do you say that a 100 Mile Club coach did? He went for a run before tonight. So. All right, without further ado, in reverse order, okay, our first honoree is Noah Willingham. Noah is actually, appropriately, doing a run up in Wayne State University, so he's not here tonight, but you happen to see him in the community, please give him a heads up for running 75 miles, okay? Next is Aubrey Granda, 76 miles. Okay. I would ask our members to please stay up here, and then we'll do one handshake at the end. Okay. Next, Parker Capianco, 78 miles. Parker is a second member of the Capianco family to enter in the 100 Mile Club, so we're always thrilled when we can get extra family members. Next, Audrey Chapman, 82 miles. Congratulations. Next, Olivia Carney, 83 miles. Another second member of the Carney family to participate. Jack Childress, 86 miles. Next is Nicholas Gerard, 88 miles. Nicholas is at a baseball game tonight. Next is Adam Willingham, the other member of the Willingham family, who is also at the run at Wayne State University. He did 89 miles. Everett Kelly, 89 miles. Okay. Luke Stikalski, 90 miles. Head over to Mr. Brown, with you, certificate. Okay. Isaac Gerard was also at a baseball game tonight. He did 95 miles. Darren Smith, 98 miles. Landon Doty, 98 miles. I'm guessing Landon's probably also at a baseball game, knowing that family. All right, without further ado, we had 2 members reach 100 miles. First, Jackson Taylor, 100 miles at Eden. And our final member, who is the 3rd member of the Lotta family to be involved in the 100 Mile Club, Harrison Lotta, 107 miles. Congratulations to you all. I should also mention that we had 11 other members who participated all year as well, so congratulations. Photo op? Anyone want a photo op?
And my bones hurt. Congratulations, well done, and I love your clothes.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations. 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 Yes. Congratulations and congratulations.
Good job. Good job.
Oh, Scott, how many miles did you run this year?
Good job.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Oh, okay.
Lots of them. Wow.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to ask Adam the same question if he comes this way.
Yes.
I know his answers. A minute to. Sorry.
One more round of applause for all of our wonderful runners this year.
All right, the seal of biliteracy, Susie Evans, Taylor High School language teacher.
Hello, my name is Susie Evans, and I'm from Taylor High School. I'm the multilingual language teacher there, and I am proud to be here for you to present to you our seal of biliteracy candidates. They received their certificate from the state of Michigan because they can speak English fluently as well as one other language, and they showed proficiency in doing so. So I'd like to recognize them today for you. And our first person is Elias Hofstadter. If you can come up, please. And just stand up there and look this way with your certificate. Our next recipient is Emily Pena Garcia. And we have a few more. I don't see them here, but we have Queen Nadunga. I'm not sure if she's here. She said she was here, but I don't see her. And then Ume Hanya Siao, John 30 Lores, and Martin Antonio Arce Jr. They all received the Seal of Biliteracy from the state of Michigan. So I'm very proud of them, and I just wanted to share that with all of you.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, now we're going to hear about first grade mathematics with Kim Berkey. I'm sorry, I just saw that there's something missing on our agenda that was there on Friday. Mr. Pratt? Oh, next, this is 17. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I saw it Friday. My fault. Sorry, everyone. Go ahead, Kim.
Good evening. My name is Kim Berkey. I am one of the school improvement coordinators for the district. I primarily work with elementary, and I'm here tonight to add on to the great news that we've already started. So we're going to be highlighting some of the progress that the students at Moody Elementary have been making, specifically in math. So this is part of the good news that I want to share. I do have the people who have been orchestrating this amazing success here with me tonight. I just want to do a quick shout out to them. Holly Miley is a first grade teacher at Moody. Jen Woolney is the instructional coach at Moody. Sarah Jonason is another first grade teacher from Moody. The three of those ladies have been collaborating very creatively to see the results that I'm going to show you tonight. So I'm super glad to see that team here. And they are led by their building administrator, Michelle Hernandez, who is also here. Okay, so just to give you a tiny bit of background, our math program is in its second full year of implementation. It's called iReady Classroom Mathematics. It's a comprehensive core program. It really allows students to take ownership of their learning. It makes math accessible to all students in some way. It increases student engagement, which you're going to see tonight here just in a little snippet. And it builds mathematical confidence in students. The learning in our program is all anchored through a strong instructional routine called the Try, Discuss, Connect routine. So the Try, Discuss, Connect routine is actually 6 steps in 3 different buckets. So there's a try it part where the kids are making sense of the problem and they're trying some solutions on their own first. And then there's a discuss it part where they move into discussing their mathematical theories and strategies with a partner. And then also the teacher calls the class together to compare some strategies. So students are actually learning new strategies from each other. And then the connect it part is where students actually get to apply their knowledge in some real life world problem solving. So just for tonight, we're going to take a look at the try it part, okay? So in the Try, Discuss, Connect routine, for this task that we highlighted at Moody a couple of weeks ago, this was the actual student page that the students were working on. It was a 2-digit addition problem, and you'll notice because of the numbers, there would be some regrouping here. And remember, this is first grade, so we're talking like 6- and 7-year-olds. We're doing regrouping at this point. So the problem was, so there are 46 snails, 28 snails join them. How many snails are there now? And you'll see where that red arrow is pointing, that's actually the workspace for the students. So when I said they actually try the problems on their own, this is where they try any solution that they want. So they can use any strategy. The expectation, though, is that all students try it. And that takes some time to build. And remember, I mean, we're talking about 6- and 7-year-olds, so you're gonna see a little bit of that tonight as well. So here's our first graders in action. These are actually photos, and we're gonna see a video of a Moody student. But what I wanna point out is, you can see their work text that they have. This is where they are really embracing productive struggle. And for all students in math, that's difficult. Like if you don't know where the entry point is and you're not sure how to even get started, it's very scary. And what this team has done is they have created a safe environment for our 6- and 7-year-olds to take risks with their math learning. And that's what this program does. It really encourages kids to have the confidence to give it a go, right? It's okay if you don't know how to solve the problem to its entirety, because remember, bucket 2 of our Try, Discuss, Connect routine allows us to talk about our strategies with a partner, and then we get to share with the whole class. So we're going to hear other kinds of thinking, and we're going to see strategies that actually have been completed, even if ours aren't quite there yet. So you can see these students have a multiple of different tools out in their workplace. They are not talking about how they're going to solve at this point. This is independent work time for the students. So this is part 2 of the 6 steps of the routine. One student chose the Unifix cubes, other students chose the base 10 blocks. It's up to them to choose which tools are going to make most sense to the strategy that they're trying. You'll also see that there's a 120 chart out there. These students chose their tools on their own based on their need and their understanding of how they were going to solve the strategies. Now this is Carter, and we're going to watch Carter here in a moment, but I just want to set this up because although this part of the routine is independent, luckily for me that day, Carter was thinking aloud. So he's totally doing this work on his own, but he's thinking out loud. So we were able to get a little picture of his processing as he's working through this nail problem, okay? So what I want you to notice is he's gonna try a bunch of different things. He's going to make some mistakes that he self-identifies. He's going to erase, he's going to talk himself through it. This is all the process that we really encourage students to do through productive struggle. And this doesn't happen overnight, and this is months and months of work by this team right here to get these students to this point where they feel safe in order to take these kinds of risks with their learning. So not only is Carter going to solve this problem one way, he's going to notice real quick he has time to solve it a second way and a third way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get this video to go, and we'll hope we have sound, right, Matt? Nope. Okay, can you play it for me?
63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74. Good job, Carter. That's 74 now.
So see if we can use different tens and ones to build 28.
So,
Try it, see if you can build 28.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many cubes.
So now he's moved on to a second strategy.
and 46. 48. Now, not 48. 46.
46, yep.
My answer
This is
is
46.
Now,
You're trying to remind
we can write something on the side.
right?
So if you have 8 plus 6, you get 14. So then you want to 14 plus 28 is, not 26. 8 plus 6 is equals 14. Oh, 26. I gotta do this here because I need to add that. Okay, that equals that. So, yeah, that does equal that. So, then on the bottom, we can do this one. 46. 48, 49, plus 46, 47. Elijah. It takes a long time. Elijah. Oh, 46 plus 28. Elijah, I need one of these because I'm wait. So if you don't add the ones, what does that equal? 60. 74. I'm done.
So you'll notice that one of the strategies that we really work with productive struggle is stick-with-itness. He did not give up. He made lots of corrections, but he was totally okay with that. And that's part of what we teach kids for productive struggle. So you might wonder, okay, is this working? What's our data say? So what you'll notice is there's two different classrooms. On the top section there's classroom 1 and classroom 2. Classroom 1 started this year in the fall with 6% of those first graders on grade level. 82% of them were 1 grade level below, and 12% were 2 grade levels below. In classroom 1, they finished this year 53% on grade level, 41% 1 grade level below, and just half of the original number, 6%, 2 grade levels below. So this classroom number 1 went from 6% proficient on grade level to 53% proficient on grade level this year. That may not seem like amazing data. However, we've been struggling with our math data, as you know. These kind of results are amazing for us. So I just want to give that a shout out. Classroom number 2, they started the fall with no students in the green. So no students were on grade level in the fall of classroom number 2. 30% were 2 grade levels below, 70% were 1 grade level below. Look at where they ended in the spring. 80% of those first graders in classroom number 2 ended on grade level in math. That's unheard of, that kind of growth in this particular district. So when I say this team is knocking it out of the park, that's what I'm talking about. Now, just when you think that this can't get any better, it does. Let me take you one step further. Same 2 classrooms on the bottom, classroom 1, classroom 2. We took the data and took it one step deeper, and we pulled out students who, of those students that were on grade level in the green, how many of those students were above grade level? In classroom number 1, 29% of those students are ending first grade above grade level in math. And in classroom number 2, 65% are ending first grade above grade level in math. So, can we say it's working? Based on this data, absolutely. These kinds of results don't happen by accident. They are a direct reflection of the intentional lesson planning, the careful decision-making based on student need and data, and the strong implementation of our new math program rooted in that Try, Discuss, Connect routine. To say I'm beyond proud of these ladies would be a major understatement. So here's our team. Again, it's Holly Miley, Sarah Jonason, led by their coach, Jen Woolney. They are deep in the trenches of this work every single day. This is, what, about 1.5 years of this type of work now with this team. I've already told the second grade teachers at Moody, like, listen, you guys, these kids are coming to you ready to go. We don't need to waste any time at the beginning of second grade because these kids know the routine and they know what to do and they know how to do it. So thank you to Moody, for sure. And then I personally would just like to thank you. This will be my last board presentation. After 35 years in education, I am retiring 2 weeks from today. The last 10 years of my journey have been here in Taylor, and I am so incredibly proud of the work that's happening these days in this district. It is going in the right direction. With this leadership, it's going to continue, and with people who are willing to take the risks that we're asking them to take with the incredible curriculum that we're providing for them, there's no end to the success, because you're seeing it's the kids who are benefiting. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank you guys for all of your support as well.
Okay, I want to say congratulations. I want to say congratulations, Kim, on your retirement. It's been a wonderful working with you. And I would just like to do a shout out to the three ladies that are in the picture here, that they are all 3 rock star teachers, and I've known that for many years. So thank you, ladies, for being here and sticking with us. And is there a plan to kind of move this wonderful training to every other building, or are they kind of, well, Emily's not here?
Yeah, so all of the teachers in the district have had the Try, Discuss, Connect routine training through our program. And now what the coaches are doing is they're getting into the classrooms and really helping to strengthen implementation. Yeah. So we're at the point where we're going to make implementation stronger now.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
That's
much.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So
Thank
exciting.
you. All right. Now we're going to go on to, I'll leave this to Stephanie. Oh, no, scheduled reports. This is still me. Kathy Fields, Finance Report.
May 29th, the Finance Committee met, and Dr. Hill presented the budget amendments, which she will be doing tonight, so I'm not going to even try to do that.
Okay.
Dr. Hill and her team are currently starting to prepare for this year's audit, which is starts in July through October. It's a process. And as far as we know, as of now, no decisions have been made on the use of the grant money yet, so.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
All right, then we'll move on to the collaborative in Barton Mallow. Yep.
Oh, boy.
All right, evening, everybody. Let's see, we got a presentation coming up here. We'll give it a test click, and it works. Look at that, that's the first step of one. Well, many, I should say. But first off, thank you all for sticking around and letting us do this presentation for you. So we're excited to present to you really updates on the renovations of the existing high school. And with that, you'll see we've got a little bit of a agenda up top. We're going to talk about schedule, we're going to talk about the user meetings, programming, give you a taste of what the floor plan's looking like currently, and then talk about next steps. And so to start off real quick, though, I'll reintroduce myself. I know you've all seen me a number of times. So Rich Brynick, I'm an architect and associate principal with the collaborative. We've got Sam Esser here as well from Barton Mallow, who's our CM partner. Process back in October of 2025, and we've started off doing programming review, looking at existing conditions of the existing high school, and I've worked into what we call schematic design, which is the first of 3 phases before we get into construction. So we're through the schematic design phase. We've done an initial estimate on the building, and now we're working into the design development phase, at which point we'll do another estimate, and then we'll get into the construction documentation phase, at which point we'll look at permitting and bidding out the project so you can get into construction. All that is leading up to construction, well, I should say the design phase being ended at the end of January 2027 to then work into that permitting, bidding, and construction phase. So we have a ways to go, but we've made it a long way at this point. As you can see, really the dummy architect way of showing you is the red line on the screen of showing you where we're at today. So getting us to this point, we want to just highlight, a lot of the initiatives that have taken place. You're going to see today where the building has started and where it's going. But all of that is really coming from, your staff, your teachers, your administrators, everyone we've talked to, all the user groups you see on screen, we've met with every single one of these. I'm not putting names to all these different departments, but every single person in these departments within the high school has taken time out of their busy lives to come and talk to us about what they need for the school, so that way we can start to quantify the needs of the building. And through that, we've done it through various rounds of programming reviews. We've had 4 rounds, and you can see each round is comprised of 2-day periods. So at the very beginning, it was a lot of information gathering, which led into now reviewing what are programmatic needs of the staff, to then help to understand how many spaces are needed, how large are these spaces, what critical adjacencies need to be maintained, because we're taking all this, these blocks, this kit of parts, and trying to put it back into a building to make it a renovation. And you'll see a big transformation as we go through, but it's really, kudos to your team for everything all the information they've provided us along the way here. Ooh, there we go. So what you see on the screen now is not the new building. This is your existing building. And it's really good to kind of start and, paint the picture of where we started and where we're going with this. So what you'll see on top is your existing building. We try to use colors to denote different classrooms, different administration, common areas, but also highlight the various challenges, which a lot of you are aware of, various points into the building. So a lot of access points into this building itself. Really difficult sight lines. The wayfinding is very difficult in this building. The sight lines are very difficult. It brings a lot of challenges for your staff and your students, as well as natural light. There's not much natural light into this building. And then also the decentralized student dining. I hear this that's the first thing I hear all the time, is are we going to have one cafeteria or multiple? And so you'll see, hopefully you get a good answer by the end of this presentation today. But as you understand, there are many challenges as we look at all of this. And there's also getting into the challenges of envelope, so trying to upgrade your envelope for current code standards, which includes your windows, your roofs, your doors, and then your MEP systems, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and technology, trying to bring all that up to snuff. This whole building is taking the idea of, we're really reuse what we can, but get you new systems that are, current systems for the day. It's not taking what you have today and trying to reorient it, it's giving you new systems. So at the end of this, it's your existing building renovated to be like new, and serve the need of your students and staff. So going on this, I won't go into each individual goal, but you can start to see on screen, there's various goals that I've outlined based on the challenges presented, and also, different, oh gosh, I'm losing my words, but basically different recommendations by your staff and your administrators along the way. So let's get into programming. All this information was quantified into a very long spreadsheet. We presented them multiple times. It's very long and boring. So I have a nice little pie chart up here. And that pie chart really starts to break down the different use of all your spaces. So you can see things like academic, arts, specialized learning, physical education, media center, all those various colors that start to show you a percent base of the building. So this is saying that you need 37% of the total building to meet your academic core. So that's your math classes, your social studies, your ELA, all those systems. And this is really of how do you make up that space. Now doing this and looking at student quantities versus spaces needed based on teacher count, what we're hearing from the staff, we looked at about 144,500 square feet needed for this building in just rooms. Now, efficiency factor is thinking about your corridors, your restrooms, your mechanical spaces, all the boring sections of the building that aren't the classrooms. We still got to account for those. So we have a 70% efficiency factor, which is pretty conservative, and tells us that we need to plan for about 200,000 square feet within this building. Now, all that is leading up into the spatial count. So you can start to see this is how all the different rooms total up within our programming document. We can provide all that information to anyone who likes it, but these are all the different areas that you'll see within the current plan. So when you think about your existing building, you're just shy of 240,000 square feet. If we're talking about needing about 200,000 square feet, that'd be like lopping off the top section of the building, and the remaining area would be 200,000 square feet. This is what we're proposing. We wanted to show you kind of what that looks like spatially on that little figure ground plan. So let's start to talk about the floor plan. When we get into that, this is back to kind of that axonometric view that you saw before that showed you the colors in 3D. This is a floor plan view of that separates out by color the spaces. But then more importantly, we also want to take your building and start to think about it vertically. So as you think about some of your art spaces, your theater spaces, your music spaces, you want a high volume. So what this graphic is starting to show are the various volumes within your plan. So as we think about how can we reduce your square footage, really in an effort to save cost at the end of the day, to then also come up with where can we have this usable space. We want to preserve these high bay spaces. They're very, very needed within the building. The other hard part about your existing building is it's got a crazy, crazy structural grid. There's a radial grid that it comes into your typical axial grid, and it's very difficult to work with. And so you've seen columns throughout the building. The good thing is it's all steel construction and everything else in there is non-load bearing. So working around all that, we've started to take another shot of, here's just we call it a figure ground. So it's your existing building floor plan shaded in black. As you can think about, we want to try to think about reducing square footage. We always look at dollar per square foot when we think about your budget versus your estimates and trying to make sure that everything we're showing is aligning with budget, which means Sam go back and forth on all the time, to make sure we're giving you something correct here. And so when we start to think about reducing your square footage, we need to take about 40,000 square feet out of the building. Today it's taking about 37,000 square foot out of the building from the current program. But what you'll see is all the sections that just disappeared in our white are now considering taking down those cylindrical cafeterias on the ends. You have a couple of wings that have been added on over time, but then also looking at the challenge of how do you get natural light into an existing closed off space. So can we start to incorporate some courtyard elements into this plan to then start to consider getting natural light within the space. All that then relates to a new floor plan for the building. So what you're seeing on screen is our current at the end of schematic design floor plan. Now this is what we've been using for doing our estimate reviews. We had another final round of stakeholder meetings, and that's with your teachers and your staff. So none of the information we've gathered there is incorporated into this plan just yet. But we're taking this plan, we're continuing to evolve it along the way, and we're going to continue to do so all the way through the end of January, because we need to make sure that at the end you know exactly what you're going to get. So today we're showing you the plan, and as you look at that, you'll start to see the white sections are where courtyards are getting added into this space for that natural light, and everything else is all those rooms individually placed in. So if my little graphic wants to work here, one of the big initiatives before we explain the different areas is going to be considering your main entry and then some of the initiatives in the circulation. So your new main entry is looking at on the southern side of the building that's nearest the large parking lot, and there would be a centralized, kind of boulevard going through the center of the building created. Now the nice thing about that is we can then start to consider making the building, instead of all the hallways everywhere, you do more of an axial pattern. So if you think about trying to secure this space and these different main corridors and secondary corridors, now you could look at having one person on each corner and being able to see all four main corridors of the entirety of the building for security, for monitoring, for your students, your staff, everyone's safety. It's a big consideration, and it's been noted as one of the main priorities as we look at replanning this building. So into the spaces now, we talked about having that main entry coming in from the south area. So that's your main court that we're labeling coming in from the south larger area, which is then flanked, so many of your courtyards that come up, it's then flanked by the library and the administration area. So we want to make sure that where people are entering in is your main admin space. So all your administrators are there, and any visitors to the building, anyone coming in, has to go through that section for security purposes. As we go clockwise, I don't know my, digital, I don't know my analog. As we go clockwise around the building, you'll see the POHI is sitting in the existing TVLA area, and they've also have a existing area in that zone as well. And then we're trying to keep the dining and kitchen function as located today. So as another cost savings measure, instead of trying to relocate the entire kitchen, if we can take that kitchen, that servery, the cafeteria, and centralize it to the building, that keeps it where it's located today. And then what you'll see right next to where kind of dining is over top of the two, the yellow section is the new cafeteria. So that new cafeteria sits central into the building, and it has a central courtyard to bring in natural light, but then offer an outside experience that's within the confines of the overall building structure for safety of the students. Continuing around counterclockwise, that blue arrow is getting into a theater entry, so now there's an art space. And if you relate this and were to overlay on that plan that showed the different vertical voids within the building, that's one of the taller sections of the building. So where it says arts, we can have a black box theater in that zone that has a high bay space, it has risers, and create a theater element that's not a full auditorium, but it's a black box theater element that gives you, auditorium light, I should say, experience. Continuing around, we've grouped math and science. These are coming off of some of the critical adjacencies that have been identified. We'd be looking at a ninth grade academy, so that's pairing all your ninth graders into one zone of the building, separate from the other grades, and then they'll disperse out. So that first year into high school, they're more consolidated, and that came into more feedback from the staff group as well. And then working our way through the center of the building is your ELA, your English, and your social studies classes. You'll see now where a building that initially had, I want to say maybe less than 20% had natural light access. Now we're getting close to 90% of spaces have access to natural light for the students in their daily tasks. And then finally, in the southeast corner of the plan, we have the athletics area. So the athletics area isn't getting as much love as the academic area. It's going to be more finished improvements to that space, but still want to acknowledge that having some improvements to that area as well. So overall, as we work through this, we talk about next steps, what's coming next. That's a taste of where the plan is, and from that point, we're working with our CM partners, looking at an estimate, because we want to make sure at the end of the day, all this aligns with your budget, and then we're going to continue on into the process, meeting with stakeholders, and continuing to develop this plan. We've got months of doing this. I'm going to be presenting to you multiple times along the way. We'll get to more, this is a floor plan. In the future, we'll have renderings, we'll have walkthroughs, we'll have all that stuff that you're going to see exactly what you're going to get before we go into construction. Because then once we get there, we don't want issues along the way. That's what, our jobs are really to minimize along the way. So really appreciate the time tonight. We thank you for this opportunity. And I guess, are there any questions from anybody here?
Where is the TVLA in that?
So, I don't know if you want me to answer, if you want to.
Yeah, the goal is to relocate them to the Career Center. That's going to take some work that we're going to have to look at as well. But a lot of when we looked into the data on this, the students who are hybrid students at TVLA, most of the hybrid students are taking Career Center courses compared to what's actually physically in Taylor High. So it made more sense that they should be paired with the Career Center for that piece. So we're working on that piece.
And they're aware of that?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, they've been involved. They've been one of the groups that have been.
Yeah, we've met with them a couple of times.
Yep.
Sorry.
And just to make sure it's clear, in the bottom right of the athletics, is that a pool that I see still outlined?
That is a pool.
And a diving pool as well?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we haven't changed the floor plan of that area. So we're going to look at trying to better the space, like finish improvements. Your steel's a little deficient. We know you need dehumidification within the space. We've had a pool consultant come out to analyze the existing condition as well. And so we don't know. It's all dependent on dollars, how far we can go in revitalization of that area, but we're not losing track of it either.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for clarifying that.
Thank you.
Yep.
And what is the student capacity of this building going to be?
Full student capacity, we are right around 1,600 total occupants. Students, though, would be right around 1,500 occupants. So you're talking about your staff on there as well, but we've been planning for just over 1,600 total as we think about egress.
Okay, you mentioned obviously the budget. Well, what does this have to stay under? What is our budget for this program?
I mean, turn it over to Sam. He gets the hard questions.
Good question. We are working with, current project underway with the athletic fields too, but making sure that that stays within budget. And we're in the mid-$60 million range for the project bid day.
So just the high school renovation is 60 million?
Yeah, in the mid-60s, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'll let Mrs. Schufelt take over.
Okay, moving on to the agenda. Are there any revisions of the agenda, policy number 0166?
I have a revision.
All right.
I would like to add discussion item number 10, Canon Image Press, and add this action item number 7, Canon Image Press.
Is that up for discussion now, or when we
You
vote on
may,
it?
but you may discuss it now. Yes, I made a motion. Somebody would really need to
Yeah.
I'll second it.
support it before we discuss.
Okay, so there's a motion to add the Canon printer. I thought I had that. I lost it.
Image Press, yeah, Image Press.
Image press. And that is going to be, you said number 7? 10 and 7.
10
for
is the discussion, 7 for action.
10 for discussion. Number 7 for action. Okay, that motion was by Ms. Moore and seconded by Mr. Modorsky.
Okay, discussion.
My concern is that this board was told at one point that we need to do our homework before making decisions.
That's correct.
This document was handed to, well, wasn't handed to me, it was on the top of my packet when I walked in. So that's not allowing me to do my homework. I'm not for putting this on the agenda tonight.
You're absolutely correct. I did, when we had the agenda meeting, I made it clear that it needed to be there by Friday afternoon. And then otherwise, unless it was an emergency, it could wait until the June 17th meeting. However, if this is not signed by June 12th, I believe is the date, then you have to start renegotiating all over again. So I'm just giving you information. I'm not pro or against or whatever.
How long has this been like in the works?
Mr. Ross, we have questions.
This is a renewal, so they had to have known it was coming up.
Okay.
Okay.
We've been working on this for the past month or two, going back and forth with Canada and the consortium to get the best pricing for the district.
So I agree with my colleagues. I seconded it just for discussion, of course. Yeah, there is no need to bring this now. It's not an emergency item. So either we can keep it on the agenda and postpone it, or just not add it on the agenda, but
What is the cost difference if it doesn't get approved tonight?
I have to start it over.
Any cost difference, but we wouldn't be guaranteeing hardware, and the print shop could be down for multiple weeks if that's the case.
And it would not be the board's fault.
no, it would not, no. I'm not going to be bullied into voting on something because someone waited to the last minute. That's on them.
Yep, just call the vote, and if we don't pass the revision, then it goes on the next agenda, or whatever happens, happens. I'm sorry, Corey, you want to put it on discussion? Discussion, yeah, and then we'll take it off of the action.
Well,
Or you can just
no,
postpone
we
the
would-
action. It doesn't matter.
Would we take action on it, or we would just table it?
If
But we have to do the vote that we just motioned for either way, whether to amend the agenda or not.
Yeah, I mean, if this motion does not pass, then technically the discussion and the action should come off.
Yeah.
Because we
Because
did
it's not
not
approved for
do
the
it, so
agenda.
it didn't get
Okay,
approved.
so
That might be fast.
So we,
yeah,
if you don't want this to go on the agenda, then it's just a no vote.
I think what you're basically, the motion and what you're voting on is whether you've added this to the agenda.
Right.
Because
Right.
if not, you then have to take another vote to make sure you approve the agenda as
Okay.
was
So
originally
we're
put
gonna
forward.
vote now for the approval of adding this to the agenda.
Yep.
Yes,
Ms. Moore,
yes.
Mr. Modarsky,
No.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes, Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Block,
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
No,
That passes 5-2. So we will take action on it?
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be added to discussion item number 10, and then action item number 7. I will forget that before the time comes. Someone will have to remind me. Okay, that's you still, I believe, the recess to the budget hearing.
Next is the recess budget hearing meeting. Pursuant to the Michigan Open Meetings Act, being Public Act 267 of 1976, and as amended, I move the board into recess for the budget hearing meeting. Is there a motion?
motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Modarsky. Mr. Modarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
That passes 7-0. We are recessed at 6:54.
Dr. Hill, I believe. I'm not giving the budget here. Sorry, it just took me a minute.
Dr. Hill.
Now, it's you.
Thank you. Okay. So please allow me to share my screen. Okay, one moment, please. Okay, thank you for the opportunity to present the budget this evening. I'd like to start with what the law says regarding the budget. School districts are required annually to have the board adopt a budget in which we're going to use to operate by July 1st of each year. And school districts may amend the budget to stay within the appropriated budget approved by the board. And that's the law. The district budget's funds for consideration this evening is the general fund, which is the district's largest fund, funded programs or grant funding, food service, debt fund, Center Programs Fund, which is a special ed fund, Capital Projects Fund, Student Activity Funds. In terms of the final budget amendment for the current year, revenue is at $90.7 million with expenditures at $100,721,960, a projected fund balance of $27.6 million. In terms of expenditure assumptions, slight adjustments have been made to the current budget to cover projected end-of-the-year expenses for summer school, staff-free classes, utilities, and special projects, major projects being the roofs and the buses. Roofs to the tune of $7 million and buses to the tune of $1.3 million. And when we have expenditures like this, of course, it's going to impact your fund balance because in terms of state aid, the state aid that we receive, look at it as when the state gives districts money, we break even. They don't give us money for new roofs and buses. Those funds have to come from somewhere else, your fund balance. In terms of the other funds, grant funds ending at about $30.7 million. Food service, revenue was about $4.1 million, while expenditures are $4.4 million, and we know food prices has gone up for everyone. In terms of center programs, which is a special ed fund, projected revenue, final revenue, is at about $7.1 million, where expenditures are $6.4 million and $776,000 is in direct costs coming back to the district from this particular fund. In terms of debt funds, revenue was $1.7 million. That's what was levied. We had expenditures of $2.6 million. In terms of transfers in, that $1.1 million is for that 2010 bond that was never levied, with a projected ending fund balance of $806,000. In terms of the capital projects fund, revenue, which is interest off the money, is at $515,000, while projected expenditures closing out the year is projected to be $9.9 million, and then a projected fund balance of $5.9 million to finish the athletic fields that are currently being worked on. So we estimate we'll carry forward $5.9 million to finish out that project. In terms of student activity accounts, $387,000 was collected. We set aside $383,000 for schools to operate, and we project, after funds raised and everything, that they'll still have a fund balance of about $347,000. In terms of the L4029 for next year, we are projected to levy 17.56%. School districts, it's the law that we can levy at least 18 mills. We're only levying 17.56 mills, and that's the reason why it is advantageous for the district to go out for a buffer to bring us back to that 18 mills, because we're losing money, and you don't want to lose money when we can have it to operate. And in terms of debt funding, we will levy 0.85%. And then we're getting into the projected 26-27 budget. Was there any questions on the first budget? Okay. So for the 26-27 school year, the proposed original budget in terms of revenue is $94.5 million, with expenditures being $93.5 million. And you're probably thinking, okay, why is that a little less? Because those roofs that we set aside $7.1 million for, that we may pay the bill in this year. If we don't, if the roofs are not finished by June 30, then that expenditure will roll forward, and then you'll see that number go up. But I budgeted the $7.1 million in the event that, something finishes this year. But in the event that it doesn't, you will see the expenditures go up by that $7.1 million. So that's what that is. And then the projected fund balance for the 26-27 school year is the $27.6 million. In terms of our revenue assumptions, local revenue is at $20.9 million. Local revenue being taxes levied makes up 22% of the revenue that the district receives. In terms of state revenue or state aid, that makes up 69% of the revenue that the district receives. Federal sources is less than 1%. Other revenue from the ISD is at $7.4 million, or 7% of the budget. Then you have other financing sources. That 722, that's the indirect cost coming from the special ed center programs. So total revenue being $94.5 million, and that's the breakout of the different sources of revenue and where it's coming from. So before I look at this slide, current enrollment is at 5,247 students. Projected enrollment is projected to be 5,100 students. That's 149 students less, and for this budget purpose, I projected that we would lose 150 students. We've been losing students, over the last 3 years. So this budget is built projecting that we will lose about 150 students, and these numbers comes from our pupil accounting department, of course. I'm also, per the policy, required to show you the union breakout of our employee categories, with our largest category being teachers, 428. We have a total of 970 employees, and these are the various categories that they fall in, with the largest being teachers at 428. Excuse me. The second largest being maintenance and transportation at 101 employees. Okay, so grant funds are projected to be at $29 million. This is a balancing fund. Food service, we project we're going to spend about $4.2 million, or bring in $4.2 million in revenue and spend $3.5. But of course, with the price of food going up, maybe a little bit more. Center programs, the special ed program, that came down a little bit, and we are going to receive less funding from the state in terms of reimbursement for special ed programs. In terms of capital projects, that $11 million that we set aside for the athletic fields, we expect that to be completely depleted sometime next year. Debt funds, we have to pay out about $2.5 million, and I expect us to have a fund balance of $965. Student activity accounts, we expect the students to raise funds to the tune of $388, with an ending balance of about around $347. It's been consistent. And thank you for your time and attention. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you.
So if I'm understanding this correct, we reduced our fund balance by 11 million.
Yes.
And then this current budget that you're asking us to approve, we don't replenish it at all, we just barely break even?
Yes.
Why aren't we able to replenish it at all? Why aren't we?
Because the revenue that we receive from the state, we don't get, we are able to break even with it.
But in the past, we were able to build it up. I'm curious why this year is different.
It's because of the ESSER funding. 3 years ago, that ESSER funding ended. And, we put a lot of staff on ESSER funding, and it was that COVID money, and districts were able to store a lot of revenue up. Now we don't have that extra grant funding anymore. We're just literally operating based on what the state has given us.
Now, I know we did recently pass 2 contracts. How much did that add to our total budget? Because I remember I asked for those numbers before we voted. I never got those. What did the contracts end up costing us total?
Which contracts? We've passed a lot of them.
Well, just 2, the 2 big ones. They're the principals and the teachers, I think.
Okay. So first of all, those contracts, they were at about 4 or 6%. A 4 or 6% increase over what they currently cost. So I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but I can get that number for you. We were basically at about $4 to $6 million.
That's what I figured, somewhere around 5 million for all of that. Okay.
Yes. And, what I want to say about that is, in this climate, in order for us to keep staff, we had to give a 4 or 6% increase. And we're in line with other school districts. And we have one of the larger fund balances. But I want to say that you are not supposed to use your fund balance for fixed costs, but only one-time special costs. And our one-time special costs were the roofs. Mm-hmm. replaced about 10 roofs. Okay, we haven't replaced it, but we have 10 roofs that we had to pay for. That's hitting the fund balance. Wes, was a summer roof. We had to pay that $1.7 million this year, plus the new roofs that you all approved, and we had to do it.
When we got the ESTRIS money, did the federal government not tell districts, don't use it for hiring people?
They did. They
Okay,
suggested that you
Now
didn't.
my point,
Yeah.
because what you said, excuse me, with the roofs now having to come out of general fund, all of those employees that we hired with ESTRIS that we shouldn't have are now coming out of the general fund. Is that not correct?
Yeah, we moved a lot of them to the general fund.
I was
you're
wondering the
not
same
wrong.
thing, thanks for asking.
Well, I was gonna say, a lot of districts, they did do, with their ESSER money, they did do upgrades to facilities and things like
They
that.
did,
it differently.
they did not use it for personnel.
Correct.
Right.
So.
And for the
But
folks
so
that-
this is the after effect of that. We built a very high fund balance by doing so, but now
But now
we're
it's
paying the
hitting,
piper
now
on
it's hitting
other
the
side.
general fund because
Correct.
we're still maintaining, so.
Yep. Correct.
And for everyone at home,
But
can you
also
just
not
state
this
what that's called again and spell it out, the acronym for that, the fund?
Also not this.
It's actually called ESSER funds, ESSER. If you Google ESSER, they have all the reports of what, districts received and things of that nature. We were able to build up that fund balance.
And that was during COVID, correct?
I always called it.
Yes.
I called it COVID money too, but people have asked me what the ESSER stood for. I was just curious, that's all.
From my perspective, they've always just called it ESSER or COVID money.
Yeah.
And, that's where it is, but, yeah, we built up that $39 million fund balance, but then we have needs that we have to address. $11 million worth of roofs, $1.3 million worth of buses. That's the major aspect of, what our expenditures. And then we had a little bit more staff from 31A that shouldn't have been there, that we had to move into the general fund also.
Doesn't that have to be voted on by the board when you're moving positions that were funded grant and now are being funded general? Doesn't that have to be voted on by this board?
I thought so.
It doesn't.
Pardon
Yeah,
me?
just off the top of my head, I think that, we hired people to work during COVID, and really I would look at what's the need.
Well, and that's what I would say. Some of this is, we had like EL teachers incorrectly where they were getting sourced for their money. And what we had to do is, it's not like we can do away with EL programs. Like we are federally mandated to offer
I
those
get
programs.
that, but doesn't.
But that's some
doesn't
of
the
those
board-
costs.
When you're taking money that has been, or when you're taking positions that are being paid for currently by grants, and now you're hitting the general fund, shouldn't we be made aware of that, and should that not be voted on?
Right, you wanna?
These
gonna
were
talk.
conversations.
Yeah.
It was based on the
Go ahead.
previous administration, and these conversations were had with the previous board. When it came to light with the new administration is when it was found, and conversations were had about it.
We'll have more.
I agree with
conversation.
Ms. Fields that a conversation is not the same as a recorded vote.
I
And
don't know that it was a required vote at that.
it depends on how much money we're talking about,
Depends on
because,
it's coming out of general fund, though,
if I may, it depends at what level of detail we approve the budget. So if you moved money that was above a certain amount, yeah, it would require the vote. No, I think Ms. Fields is bringing a very good point. And we can't dismiss her question by saying, well, we didn't need to vote. We need to know what the total dollar amount was that was moved, and was it above or below the threshold? That's really it.
Now, the one thing I do want to say is I think that we see it through budget amendments. I think Dr. Hill's doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing. My thing is it's not brought to our attention with all of these numbers that, hey, you were spending 16 million on grant. Wonderful, great, we got these programs. Well, now that money's gone. Now we're just going to slide it over to general fund? I don't like that at all.
Yes, but
I'm sorry, go ahead.
one thing that we always do, we have a list and we have an amount. Like it was stated before, these things were uncovered in the last administration, and MDE gave us grace. They didn't make us move everybody at once because that would have been really, it would have really caused financial stress to the district. So, we had the ability to move a little bit, at a time, and we do have a list, and we can provide that list to you.
I thought we did have, we're talking like.
John.
We did.
Bravo wants to talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can answer a couple of these questions.
Yeah.
So, for ESSER stands for Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund. So that's what, it's an acronym. And with respect to whether or not this board has to approve positions that are in your general fund, the answer is yes, you do. And you you're correct, Ms. Fields, that you do that through the approval of your budgets. And so, like, when we're looking at your proposed budget tonight, on your expenditure side, there's a function line for instruction, and then there are two codes below that. There is basic programs and added needs. That's where a lot of your instructional staff are in those two line items. And so for fiscal year that you're ending 26, you've got basic programs at just under 37 million and added needs at just over 14 million. Next year, there'll be basic programs will be just over 37 million and added needs will be 16.5 million. And so this year, you are not moving, based on this budget, people from grant funds in any large amount to your general fund. That did happen about 3 years ago.
Right.
And it would have been brought up at a budget presentation. What detail, I don't know that off the top of my head. I do know when there were individuals that when ESSER fund was used for certain people, that budget presentation did have a number that X amount, and it was 20-some or 30-some individuals are being paid through ESSER funds. That was before you were sitting on this board, Ms. Fields. But when you use general funds to then pay for those 20 or 30 people, yes, as a board, you do have to approve that. You do that through your budget process. And you as a board can demand as much detail as you want on this.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Can I say, I want a breakdown of how many and who and what positions are you suggesting to move from point A to general fund?
Sure.
Because that's important, what you're taking out of that general fund, and what programs, because we need to look at some of our programs.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
like
and
you
this-
said, it's not current, like, these teachers it was already done 3 years ago. It's just taking,
But-
the effective.
But they've carried over is what she's saying. And we're not the only school district that's done this. I don't want people to think Taylor was unique.
Well, there's a lot.
A lot of cities, townships, counties did this. They hired people with various types of COVID money, and then they were burdened, but the cost is occurring now, and people are looking back and saying, where'd they come from? In Office A, we used to have 5 people, now we have 8. Why is that? Well, it's a carryover from the COVID money, that's all.
And those
Well, I think
numbers.
at this point, we can ask Mike to, in the future, when we're doing these, I'm asking you, obviously, we can relate to Dr. Hill, that any people that were grant funded and are moved over to general fund, please let us know.
Ms.
I don't
Moore,
have a
that's going to be.
Absolutely. We have a list.
Next Finance Committee meeting.
Right? And you'll have that conversation? at your next
Yes.
meeting? Perfect. Yeah, I think that's important. You're right, Kathy. That is important to know where the money's coming from.
And just to be on the, and it is correct, this was discovered, at the end of the previous administration and then going into when I took over.
We knew out of
And-
the gate that it was being done.
Well, yeah, so the thing was, we could have absorbed all that cost at that point, and the state gave us grace to spread it out.
Yeah.
That's kind of why it's still hitting us as we keep approving budgets.
Yes.
So this is the last time that this will be
Paying
even.
for the sins of the father.
And we have a list that we'll provide to the board.
Of those individuals and those.
Yes, absolutely. And we have a list.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like the detail too, is what I meant.
Right, because normally when you hire a grant-funded position, you always want to have a fallback that says, if the grant ends, what do you do next?
Yeah.
And it sounds like they didn't in the past. That's what it sounds like to me.
Right, but the district does that now.
Right.
Yeah. Whenever they hire, using grant funds, that statement is on the job description. The district does it now.
Yep. Done that for years, yes. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we can return.
Okay, we will return to our regular, is this our board meeting?
I just wanted to say, Sam, did you think you had all that money there for a minute? All those ESSER funds?
I knew the acronym.
Yeah.
We will return from recess at 7:20 PM.
Okay, we'll start with curriculum proposal, TCI 6 through 12, social studies. Marlene Scott.
Good evening. I am here this evening to present an exciting development for our secondary social studies classrooms. It's been quite a while since they have had any new curriculum in 6 through 12 social studies.
I may have still been teaching in social studies the last time we did an adoption, and it's been a while, so.
Yes, I
probably
think
agree
it's
with
been
that.
between 10 and 15 years, is what I understand. So it's been quite a while, very much due. So this is a Tier 1 core curriculum for all secondary social studies. Our teachers, we had 15 social studies teachers in middle school and high school participate in this pilot. Overwhelmingly, they selected TCI as their choice. We reviewed a number of resources, piloted 2 resources. The teachers voted, they had a lot of input. Sarah Staton worked very closely with a social studies consultant from Wayne Risa. And they just, they really dove into it. And so we also bid for this as well. TCI came in at about $280,000 for 6 years, which was the lowest bid out of all of the resources as well. That includes digital access as well as physical textbooks. And what else do I have on here? So the recommendation is to adopt TCI for all of our core social studies classes for all 6th grade through 12th grade.
And this will be for 6 years, correct?
That is correct.
So some parents reached out to me. Apparently, there was some controversy over this curriculum. Are you aware of that in some other states?
I'm
That-
not.
Yeah, the way it covered certain things in the Middle East and other political events, that they felt it had a certain bias to it. And I would like to be able to study this material more directly. I mean, we got a couple, pages in the emails, but I'd like to be able to review the curriculum directly. And I'm also concerned about locking us into a 6-year curriculum, because let's say year 1 or 2 next year, parents start coming to the meetings and saying, we don't like this, and now I have to say, oh, we bought in 6 years. I mean, we elect a president for 4 years. I don't imagine locking in a curriculum that, to me, I haven't even reviewed for 6 years.
Yeah, I do recall, actually, now that you mention that, getting a request for some units. If there are additional units that you're interested in, I'm happy to provide them. But the social studies teachers, our RISA social studies consultant, Sarah Staton, our secondary school improvement coordinator, they've been working on this for months. And this was the decision of their committee. So if,
Right, but we
it's not
can't look at it
approved-
before we vote. Is that
Sure.
just a yes or no question? We can't review this, and the parents can't review it before we vote. Yes or no?
I do not have it today to provide.
So we can't review it before we vote. That is correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I'm voting no for sure then. Thank you.
Can you ask me, do you have in-service training or dates lined up and everything?
Yes, and we have had some already. They've been great to work with.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Well, I guess just going back to what some of the parents said, can you explain how the Middle East conflict is covered in this?
I
Because that
cannot.
kept coming up and saying that was very controversial.
Yeah, I am not aware of the controversy, so I can't address it explicitly.
Yeah. So that's another reason we don't have to rush to pass this today. I think you're kind of proving my point. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Have none. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right, now I gotta find my agenda again. Okay, next we're going to move on to Microsoft 365 renewal. Mr. Ross.
Good afternoon. This is a 3-year renewal cycle that we go through with our Microsoft products. This year, we've decreased the amount of licenses. That was due to student decreases in the district. We also decreased our footprint in the server room as well because of our migration to the cloud. That's been highly successful, but the cloud licensing that we're receiving in full over the next, for the full 3-year grant period also covers our Microsoft licenses, so we were able to save some additional money there. So every 3 years, we enter into a 3-year agreement with both Microsoft and Google for our licenses, and with Microsoft, it's our cloud device management system, it's security software, and things that everybody knows and loves, like Microsoft Word, Excel, and other products like that. So these are what we're renewing this year at the tune of $33,762 annually for the next 3 years. And the reason why we do that for 3 years is it's just a standard that Microsoft allows us to do in order to lock in prices. This kind of helps because next year they're going to raise the costs. The year after that they will. So we kind of caught the back end of a Google contract last year, I believe we talked about before, where Google raised their costs last school year tremendously, but we had the old contract in place, so we were able to take advantage of that for 1 more year. So that's why we do things like this. And that's all I have for the Microsoft renewals, that it's a 3-year at $33,762 annually for the next 3 school years.
I just have one question real quickly. With Microsoft 365, they've been implementing a lot of their Copilot updates and things like that. Have we noticed any fall off in the functionality of the software as it updates and tries to implement AI?
No, if people are using Copilot, then they're not doing so through our licensing because we don't pay any additional Copilot licensing.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, let's move on to the Bloom.
All right, so Bloom is our annual Google licensing. We have Google Workspace Education Plus. This includes all of our other Office products that Google allows us to have, as well as some other things like our Google Classroom, Classroom Tools, which is a newly developed thing by Google, among their entire suite, security services, and we can't forget the email platform that we rely on so much every day. Again, Google does the same thing, where it's a 3-year agreement. This year, we've decreased our licensing again. However, because of Google's new licensing scheme, or scam, it's gone up in price considerably. It used to be that we would purchase X amount of licenses and we would get so many staff licenses to use as essentially free. Now what they're doing is combining the two, and there's only one license type for students and staff. So even though we're decreasing our student licenses, we have to increase because we only have so many left over for staff. And so because of that, we do have to increase our licensing count. However, there are staff that don't need the full Google suite of products, and what Google did was they threw us some sort of benefit where there is an email-only version of it, and that comes at no cost to us. So our users, like in transportation, they rely on email, but they never use any other products. So they'll get this email-only product, which doesn't cost the district anything. So it does, in some way, help us keep our licensing low. So, like I said, with the Microsoft renewal, Google also does a 3-year, and it allows us to lock in for that period of time at a rate of $32,942, and that's for 3 years. Google will also allow, same with Microsoft, at any time if we need to increase, if that were to happen, we can also do that. They don't let you decrease, though. Any questions in regards to our Google licensing?
Any questions? Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, student reinstatement number 01
2021-82026. That would be Mr. Wager.
Yep, I am filling in for Miss Marshall tonight on this one. So in your packets, you have the information regarding a reinstatement hearing that took place for student one. It was what it says on the top of the sheet. I'll give you a few moments if you want to take a quick look at what was in the packets. I know you had already received this as well prior to tonight. And then in a few moments, I'll go through what the panel recommendation was.
Any questions? Or, well, I guess you're going to talk about more about it.
I'm just making sure
so-
everybody's good first.
Yeah.
Doing those teaching skills, looking
Yes,
around,
yes,
checking in
yes.
on everybody. So the panel, the reinstatement panel had voted 5-0 to conditionally reinstate student one. As the conditions of the reinstatement, it would be to return to high school fall of 2026 with a behavior contract in place for further issues, recommended counseling, and a handoff to Care Solace, having a reentry meeting with administrators in the fall of 2026, and then meeting with a resilience coach to assist in any transition from online learning to in-person learning. So that is the reinstatement before you tonight.
Are there any questions? Okay, then we'll move on to the final budget amendment. You've got the rest of these. Final budget amendment, Dr. Hill.
Oh, I think we're actually.
Oh, we are done with that? We don't
Yeah,
have to do
because that was part of the hearing
Okay.
part.
That's covered in the
That's what I
hearing,
thought,
yeah,
but
we're
it's
good.
here, you know, and you know me.
Yep, I just want to make
I
sure.
don't know now.
We're good.
All right, then we'll move on to number 10. This is the Canon Images. Mr. Ross.
Hold on. Dr. Hill, did you need to talk about the L4029 tonight, or is that?
I talked about that also.
Just making sure, is that something we are voting tonight, or is that just, nope, that's next meeting too.
Yes.
Clarified. Thank you.
Well, I guess my only question on the L49, is that a tax increase, or are we keeping it the same?
Okay, so we have decreased the amount of tax we're going to levy for our operating taxes. And for debt, it stayed the same at 0.85.
I think what you're asking is, at some point, are we increasing to that 18 mils?
That's my question,
Correct.
exactly.
So I know we brought this before the board last year for discussion, and then it was opted to not act at that time.
Correct.
So we are going to bring it back in July to have a discussion again. We wouldn't vote at that July meeting. We would give the board time to think about it, but we are bringing that back for discussion again in July, yes.
Okay, very good.
Yep. I thought that's where your mind was
100%.
going.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Ross. Any?
Thank you again. Apologize for the delayed addition, but I will be quick. Our current situation over in our print shop is that we have a couple devices. One is a monochrome black and white production machine, so large output, with a couple bells and whistles. But in order to achieve all of the other things that we need in the print shop, we also have a color machine for color prints, and it also has a couple additional bells and whistles. So over the past couple months, we've been working with Canon and talking with other print providers, and we had Canon in-house. They showed us some new devices that were out, and what we can do now in order to save on some costs is to decrease the amount of machines we have. So we're doing that without doing that, and what we negotiated was Canon is bringing in a new machine that has a combined, we'll say all the bells and whistles of our two combined machines, all in one unit now, along with a couple additional things that Bill was looking for. Increased paper sizes, the ability to do all the things that he can do, but also decreasing our footprint by having both machines in one. So what we came out with on the other end was only having to purchase one machine. I said, what are you doing with the other machine? And we were able to keep the current color machine for no cost. Not only that, but they're going to, the last payment of $1,810, they're going to drop that off the end. So our last payment is going to be scraped off as long as we sign this contract by June 12th. So we're keeping a machine we're keeping 2 machines for free because we do have a small footprint machine that we have over at the high school as well that they gave us free last year when we decided that we wanted to increase volume. And so we do have a free printer out there. So another thing that's going to benefit us is that the small footprint that's over at the high school and the color printer that we have now, which will essentially become a backup machine as needed, they're going to continue under the same cost per page as the prior contract. So it just renews at the same rate, which is good. That rate hasn't gone up in 6 years, which is unheard of. Typically, you see about 15% per year increase. With the new machine, we're also lowering our lease contract by 75%. We were prior paying, I think it was $1,810 plus insurance fees. So let's say $1,840. Our current payment now is going to be $475 for what we're going to have in the print shop. So effectively a 75% decrease in monthly costs just for the lease of the machine. But on the flip side of that, because we're entering a new maintenance contract, the new machine is going to have higher print costs to the tune of anywhere between 30 to 50%. But remember that we typically see in this environment a 15% increase year on year. We're actually ahead of the game after a 6-year lease of our prior equipment. So in the end, we keep 2 machines for free on old maintenance contracts that aren't increasing, while we purchase we lease 1 new machine at 25% of the current rate that can do everything that Bill currently does in the print shop and come out ahead. So even when I calculate in what I believe our monthly costs are going to be, the decrease in the lease price per month actually more than covers what our print costs are going to be on a new machine. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I just have one question. So while we're transitioning to this new system, is there going to be a fall off in the volume of printing we can do going to less machines, or we're still going to be able to keep up with that?
So we talked with Bill about that because that was a concern. The current machine I think is about 90 pages per minute, whereas this one is about 80 pages per minute. But when you really factor that in, the extra 10 pages per minute isn't enough when print volume has been decreasing print volume has been decreasing in the print shop. So it wasn't something that Bill cared about, and that made, if Bill was happy, I was happy.
Oh, Bill's approved this as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I made sure that they came out to the building to talk with Bill and make sure that he had a smile on his face when they left.
That's all I need to hear. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? None. Thank you. All right, now we'll move on to public comment regarding any of the agenda items that we've spoken about. Anyone wishing to address the board regarding items that we've talked about?
This is only on things on the agenda. I think what you kind of
Yes.
spoke to me would be for the second part of public comment later in the meeting, so.
Yep, I agree. Okay. All right, seeing none, I will hand it back over to Mrs. Schufelt.
Moving on to the action items. Action item number 1 is the curriculum proposal, TCI, social studies curriculum. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the adoption of the TCI social studies curriculum from grades 6 through 12 to provide a cohesive, standard-aligned instructional framework that supports student achievement, instructional consistency, and differentiated learning opportunities. The 6-year implementation costs, including digital licensing, textbooks, print materials, and professional development, is estimated at $280,195.20. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
No.
That passes 6-1. Number 2 is the 2026-2027 Board of Education meeting schedule with a 6 p.m. start time, policy number 0154.
I just want to clarify, this was from discussion last week. We put 2 motions on here for what we heard as one of the proposed times for change and what the current time is. So that's how we'll
This
make
is
that
for the
decision.
current time of 6 p.m.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields.
So the question is, if we want the 6:30, we have to vote no on this, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. But if this passes, we don't go to the other one.
Correct.
I think technically, because we have it on the agenda, you're still going to have to go through the motion of voting it down. It would be what would have to happen. Correct. Thank you, John.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
No.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
That passes 6-1. Number 3 is the 2026-2027 Board of Education meeting schedule with a 6:30 p.m. start time, policy number 0154. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Board of Education meeting schedule for the 2026-2027 school year with a 6:30 start time. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Medarsky. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Morris. Mr. Westfall?
No.
Ms. Block?
No.
Ms. Fields?
No.
Ms. Moore?
No.
Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
No.
Ms. Shufelt is a no. And that does not pass 1-6. Number 4 is the Microsoft 365. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the purchase and renewal of the Microsoft 365 A3 subscription licenses through CDWG for the 2026 school year in the amount of $33,762. This agreement will provide district staff and students with continued access to Microsoft productivity, collaboration, and educational software services. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Medarsky. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. That passes 7-0. Number 5 is the Bloom Google Workplace renewal. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the renewal agreement with Bloom for Google Workspace for Education Plus services for the 3-year term, for a 3-year term, beginning in 2026, at an annual cost of $32,940 for a total contract amount of $98,820. This renewal will provide district-wide access to enhanced educational technology tools, advancement security features, analytics, and teaching and learning supports for all students and staff. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Medarsky. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. That passes 7-0. Number 6 is student reinstatement. Number 0105182026, policy number 5610.03. The review committee is recommending the Board of Education approve the conditional reinstatement of student number 0105182026. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Number 7 is the Canon Image Press. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the lease agreement with Canon USA Incorporated for the acquisition of one Canon Image Press V700 digital production printer, including associated equipment, installation, operator training, maintenance services, and supplies, through a 63-month lease at a monthly cost of $475. Pursuant to Region 10 Contract R10 1169B, the agreement also includes the trade-in and upgrade of existing district printing equipment as outlined in the lease and return schedules. This recommendation will provide the district with updated, high-volume printing capabilities while maintaining service and support through Canon's maintenance program. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Fields?
No.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
No.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
No.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
That passes 4-3.
All right. Okay, that's still you. When you're done.
All right, moving on to the consent agenda, policy number 0166.1, policy 6470, and policy 8640, and policy 2304. Minutes from the regular board meeting, May 20th, 2026, consolidated items, payment of current bills, certified, non-certified, and administrative reports, out-of-state overnight field trips, out-of-state overnight grant-funded conferences. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
I've done that before too, so
Ms. Block?
no
Yes.
worries.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
That passes 7-0.
All right, on to the superintendent's report.
I was. I sure was.
All right, thank you very much tonight. Thank you, Dr. Hill, for presenting the budget tonight. One of the things that is crazy about this budget-making process is that we are reliant on our state legislators and how the government works in Lansing for providing us the vast majority of what our funding is. Yet we often are setting a budget in place before we know what our funds are coming from Lansing, because the statutory deadline for the legislature and the governor to put out a budget is June 30th. They have to have that, or they're supposed to, because last year they didn't have it until October, but they're supposed to have that in place by the end of June, yet here we spend the month of June making assumptions about what's coming, and we do that as diligently as possible. And that's why I want to thank you, Dr. Hill, because it's not easy predicting what we're going to have coming from Lansing. It's not easy predicting how many students we're going to have, and those are the major inputs that you need to know on what's happening. So I really appreciate the time and effort you and your team have put into making sure we have the best guess we can have at this point. And that's exactly why Dr. Hill explains that there is a budget amendment process that we follow throughout the year, because those inputs are going to change as laws change, as our staffing changes, as our amount of students we have changes. So it is a lot of effort, and it's just odd that we do it. It's kind of putting the cart before the horse, that we do a lot of this before we even know how much money we're going to have. But we do the best we can, and that's all you can say, and we're going to keep doing the best we can. On that note, I do want to clarify, I still feel, I know last year I spent a lot of time at every one of these superintendent reports asking people to contact their legislators and get the budget going because of how long it took. I am still very optimistic and confident that they are ahead of schedule compared to where they were last year. And I'm really hopeful that we will see something in the next couple weeks of what that budget looks like and anything that would change. So I do know, like, many of us are still going to be still pushing, still making sure that they're staying on track, but it does feel like a lot different process than last year, and I'm hoping it stays that way going forward. The only other piece that I want to say is this is that last meeting we have before we officially wrap up the year with students. So I know all our elementary students, this is a week that they're having lots of good things going on, lots of those events, and I hope they're enjoying and having a good time with those. Our secondary students, however, I know you still have final exams coming, so you are not quite done yet. Please make sure that you are studying for those and that you are ready for that, and that you are still making those good choices right up to the last day. And then I hope everybody, all our students, enjoy that summer break that they are having coming up just like a week from now. So I want to put that out there for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have anything for Mike? Questions? Okay. Item scheduled for next Wednesday. This is the one I was looking forward to tonight, the Golden Ark Masonic Lodge. And now we will move on to public comment regarding any item on. Okay, let me read my statement here. Thank you for being here this evening. We value your participation and appreciate the opportunity to hear from our community. If you wish to speak, you must fill out the public comment form via barcode that's on the agenda. Public comment will begin with those attending in person, followed by our online participants. In-person speakers should come to the microphone and state their name and address. Online speakers should use the raise hand feature to be recognized. Please be respectful, avoid personal attacks, and limit comments to 3 minutes so everyone has an opportunity to speak. We'll provide and assist with timekeeping, so each guest will be able to monitor their own time and know when to conclude, so that all that wish to speak will have an equal opportunity to do so. If questions arise, Superintendent Wager or his designee will work to provide answers in a timely manner. Please note that comments made by individual board members do not necessarily reflect the position of the Board of Education. This meeting is held in accordance with the Michigan Open Meetings Act and is being video recorded. And again, this portion of public comment can be regarding anything. Thank you for being patient.
Yeah, you're welcome. I actually have a question for Mr. Ross. So the Microsoft 365.
What is your name?
Sorry, Ashley Iwaniki, 6053 McGuire Street.
6050 McGuire.
6053 McGuire Street.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Does that include Microsoft 365 for students too?
Students have a K1 license included in that.
So can they use Word and PowerPoint? Because my son's a junior and he's been using Google Docs and Google Slides for the last 3 years and he hates it. And most colleges use Word and PowerPoint.
The licensing depends on where you're at as well. The A1 licenses are included for the student use. It's the online equivalent of the Microsoft.
So he would log in on Microsoft Online and he would have access to it with the student ID?
And that should give your son, you said your son, right?
Yeah.
So it'll give him the ability to log in and utilize those tools. But in the online format, there's no downloadable products. So if you're download the suite.
Right. So it's not, like you can't edit things then, correct? But isn't that free anyways, Microsoft Online? Like Word and PowerPoint, isn't that free anyways? Like, are they getting anything out of the package?
You could sign up, absolutely correct. You could sign up for an Outlook.com account and you would have some of that functionality for no cost. This is a very similar, but it's an education product and it does unlock more features.
Okay, okay.
And then you could also go to file, download, and you could download an XLSX file or .x file if you wanted to. So you could carry it around on the drive and load in other PCs. There are some additional features, but if you were to go to the Career Center, for example, there are A3 licenses which do have the desktop apps available for students.
Okay.
But on the Chromebook, obviously we can't go
It's the Google Slides and all that. Okay, all right, thank you for answering that. My question for coming here tonight was I received an email that the high school principal is no longer going to be with us, and I was wondering if we have a new principal or when there's going to be one announced, because I'm really interested to find out who that's going to be and who's going to be leading the school next year, because I'm Like,
I do want to
excited
clarify.
for change and all that, I'm
Yeah.
nervous.
Ms.
and wanna-
Skopczynski is not leaving us. She is going to
Going to
West
the
Middle
middle school.
School.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's
Mhm.
still going to be
Yes.
with the school district, just leading at a different capacity. We are entering the hiring process, so I don't have
Okay.
an exact answer on that, but we will be hiring for that position.
Okay. And then I think there was, the last question I had about the football field. There was about a month ago, a discussion on there might have to be cuts, and there was going to be like transparency on if there was anything cut back because of the budget.
Yeah, no, nothing
So has
planned.
anything been cut back for the football field? And is it still like scheduled and to be
No,
done?
everything's still on schedule.
Okay.
We are concerned that as we get closer, if things fell off schedule, we'd have an issue. But at that point, our construction manager for that project, Saxy Construction, has said that they will be pulling their crews from like the baseball and softball fields
Yeah, I heard you
and
say
putting
that.
all priority on the football. So,
Okay,
yep.
okay, that's all we know.
And regarding the Microsoft software you discussed, I taught at Wayne State, and in college, they had the same problem. And it depended on where the computer was, what department they were in, so forth and so on. So what at least we could do at Wayne State, I know your son's a junior now, but maybe when he goes to college, we had a really good deal so they could actually buy it themselves. And they didn't have to sign up for the support, but at least it was current for those couple of years, and it was very inexpensive. And most of my students ended up doing that.
At Wayne State, they made them purchase it?
We didn't make them, but if they wanted the everything that you were talking about, they want to say, well, if I log in at this lab, I had this. The dorms had the most, but if they were using their own PC, maybe on the Wayne State network versus at home, they were having issues. But it was really cheap. It was like much lower than retail. And most students just said, I'm just going to buy it and own it. And then they owned it. It was so cheap, that's what people did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a
I-
U of
it
M
was bad, but it
graduate,
was a neat
so like,
idea.
they gave it to us for free, so I just
same.
assumed that, like, a lot of the colleges, it's my understanding a lot of the colleges give it to you for free, and I don't
You
know
did,
that
but if
a
you
lot of
wanted
them
to take it
use-
home when you graduated and own it,
Yes. I see
that
what
was
you're
kind of
saying.
the thing with
I
that.
see what you're saying, once you
Yeah.
graduated. Yeah, because not a lot of them use docs and slides. I'm surprised that something that they're so hung up on in the high school.
Well, the Excel was huge, and you got into the issue that you mentioned, which made me think of it. Not all the labs you could do the proper editing. And that was the issue with the Excel, was not being able to view it, but to edit it. So then they just bought it for, like I said, it was really cheap, I forgot how much it was. And then they owned it for a long time, and they were happy that way.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Yep, come on up. It's perfect, we're ready.
Hi, my name is Douglas Porter. I'm representing my daughter Waldron, Heather Waldron, and my granddaughter Jada Porter. This is an issue from the high school. My daughter was viciously attacked in a classroom, dragged out by her hair while the teacher was in this classroom, drug out to a hallway where 15 students were standing all ready to watch this with, they're out in the hallway, no staff comes out of the school. When I went to school, if something was going on in the hall, the staff would be there out there immediately. No one to protect her. Second girl jumps in, attacks her. This teacher finally comes out, and we have a problem with that. So I approached your staff over at the high school, and I got a lot of runaround with them folks there. They didn't like the fact that I was explaining to them that they have a lack there of security in their own establishment there. And I say that because of what I said. I have the video that shows my daughter being brutally assassinated. And 2 women at that time were suspended for 3 days only. The very next day, that day that young lady came back, she tapped her again. I warned the assistant principal over there that this wasn't going to be over. I tried to get that gentleman to perhaps maybe bring us all together, maybe talk this out. Parent, I understand that the school doesn't like to get parents together because they might bicker and fight. I understand that, but I'm 62 years old. Your principal over there is just as old as I. I don't know who's running that show over there, to be honest with you, ma'am, and board. I've tried to follow the steps to get some peace and some resolve with this issue. I'm being forced out of the school because I made a comment that your principal over there grabbed my granddaughter by the hair and she decided she would deny it. But the girl that was in there at the time that it happened and her mother said, "You're a liar." I asked this principal, "Do you have video?" And she said, "Yes." But I guess you're lying that you didn't pull my granddaughter's hair. So you physically shouldn't have touched my granddaughter, for one. My problem is after that, there's this gentleman who they call the Dean of Students. I'm not sure this gentleman's name. He seems to be running this show over there. I say that because when I approached the assistant superintendent with this issue, I got kind of blocked out, busy, too busy, can't get a meeting. Okay, I'll try. I can't make it today. So I reverted and went to this gentleman in front of me, Michael here. I apologize for your last name, sir. And I just recently tried to get this gentleman for 2 weeks into a meeting to resolve this. Myself, kids are kids, I get it. They're gonna battle, they're gonna have problems in school. But if you can see this video I got, which I would gladly put it on that screen for you, it's a vicious beating by 2 females with no security. 15 students standing right there to watch it, though. So in my time, if I've got a crowd standing in a corridor, I want to know why them students are there. Let's disperse it. No security. No teachers came. One teacher that probably was tied up in a classroom at the time that, this happened, finally made it out there. I give that gentleman props because he did come out and do his job. That gentleman only had help by 1 student standing right there. But there was ample people there. There was no teachers coming out. They were in this hallway for many times. My problem is this. We've been disrespected. As far as my daughter, my granddaughter, and I. How would you feel if your daughter was assassinated like that? I call that assassination because they ripped her right out of her classroom in front of everybody. So I'm upset at that, and I go to approach that, and then I find out that this assistant principal has pulled my granddaughter's hair. I'm more upset. Do you understand? So I approached these folks, and I tried to find out why this took place. They literally lied to our face there with the witness of the student that seen this principal pull her hair. They didn't like it because I said, "Well, you're lying." This gentleman, Mr. Dean of Students, decides, "Give me the police in here." I got people coming in from every way possible to take this 62-year-old man out the door. So I walked out of the establishment there, peaceful and calmly, not dragged out, not in handcuffs, not arrested. I'm just a grandfather and a father concerned about my grandchildren's education. So your assistant principal sends me this letter. If anyone would like to read this, I made a comment going out of this school at this time. I said, "Your security system really sucks." I said, "Anybody could walk into this school with a weapon and you wouldn't even know it." I said, "It clearly shows in the video you don't have security in your hallways when there's 15 students standing there while my granddaughter's getting beaten and pulverized." So he decides to send me this letter. If you care to read it, he indicates that I said that I carried a weapon into this school. So I have 2 teen grandchildren in your high school. I have 3 more on their way up in your system. So this gentleman here decides he's going to bar me from the school, picking my grandchildren up, or any events. My granddaughter and grandchildren are in basketball, volleyball, football. They are very academically active, So that kind of hurts me when I can't go to their activities because of this one man for taking a statement and taking it out of context. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to come into your establishment with a weapon. I don't even own a gun, people. Do you understand that? My wife has been shot 38 years ago. So I don't carry a gun. I don't have a gun in my home. My problem is with your staff, how we were treated. We were treated like our concerns did not matter. So I attempted to try to tell this person that they didn't want to listen. I was going to sue the city or the school system over this. But they're kids. They're kids. This happens everywhere. But to block the parents out that are concerned about the well-being of all children involved, they totally just decided to lock us out. They didn't even respond to their own mother over there on trying to get this resolved. This was the end right here for us. I tried to follow your steps of procedure with respect to each level of counselor, vice principal, principal, to the assistant superintendent, to this gentleman, which I had nothing against you, because I've never really met this gentleman, but he's a busy man, I guess. So anyway, I brought this to you, the folks that actually basically run the show. At least that's what I believe, that's what I've been told. You have much more authority over everybody than the principals and things. Your staff has a lot of issues over there. They cover up, they lie, they have no respect for any of the parents, that we've been treated, but that's how I feel. I'm hard on my grandchildren. They're not crooks, they're not robbers, they don't have criminal records, do you understand? But I get school to school. This needs to be resolved. I am my daughter's only ability to pick up children if something goes wrong with them. So you pretty much stop me. If my grandchildren is hurt at school, mom can't make it, I can't go, what's gonna happen then?
Well, I think that you spoke with Mr. Wager before, prior
Very
to the
briefly
beginning.
with the gentleman.
Briefly before. I think you're right, we do need to sit down and get this resolved, but it's probably going to be several weeks, or a
Ma'am, this
couple of
has been
weeks.
since March 7th. I've been
Okay.
trying to get a meeting, ma'am.
Okay. This is
No, I
the first
respect and
I'm
understand.
hearing about it, and we know we need to get one.
Yeah, and I'll say my calendar does, I work all summer, and my calendar does free up. And so it's basically, once we get through the last stretch, I will have plenty of time. And
Yeah, no, nothing taken from you.
Yeah, I agreed. Yep.
I gave you, I've just been trying to get, I was trying to follow the chain.
Yeah,
And
you did a great job. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess my question,
Can I ask who
though.
signed your letter? Who signed-
May I show you?
Yeah, well, he does that. My question is for the attorney real quick, 'cause I know it's come up in other school districts. If an individual gets banned from school district property, what's the appeal process? Can they come before the board to be reinstated? Because I'm thinking of another community where this happened.
Well, it says that the school board in that letter can, or the board would make that decision.
You can have your letter back. Thank you.
I'd have to look at the board policy. I'm not aware, I don't know the board policy off the top of my head, so I'll have to take a look at it.
But if there is an appeal, then he should, I'm encouraging him to follow the appeal then, whatever that process is. Is that what it says, sir?
It states that he's banned until otherwise notified. It doesn't say you, the board can
Okay.
rescind it, but.
That'd be kind of crazy, come on, I don't have a criminal record.
Sir, if I may, would you be able to send that video to our emails? Each board member has,
If you give me an email to send it to, I'd gladly send it to you, you can spread it amongst yourself. If you
I'll
put it
have-
up right now, you can see it.
I'll have Emily give you the email so that we can look at it individually.
Very brutal, so.
Team Becky,
Becky, I'm so sorry, Becky. Long day.
get with Becky at the, before you leave.
Yeah,
and
she's a nice lady that helped us when we
She'll
came
get
in.
you our emails. You can send it.
Yeah.
And I'd like your contact info before you leave too, yeah.
You what, sir?
Before you leave, I'd like to get your contact info.
Okay, yeah,
I know you don't want to state your address publicly, I understand that, but I'd like to.
no, I understand, it's fine, anything you wish to need, we tried to resolve this, people. We really, truly did, it's school, man. They're teenagers, but it was such a beating, you'll see, that it drove us to the point of wanting to go to legal action. I had the attorney, he wanted the case. We tried the steps, here we are. Everybody was, that group over there is very interesting over there, that from the counselor, the assistant principal up to the dean of students.
Well, you've been very, very patient, and we appreciate that, but I'm going to ask for a little bit more patience to let the superintendent get these wheels.
Yeah, I don't mind meeting with this gentleman. This is what I wanted to report.
You've given us a lot of information to digest.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, that's what I'm saying, because we got to move forward. Everybody moves forward. I don't have a vendetta, I don't have a grudge. I just didn't like, at 62, being treated like I was some 16-year-old little kid. And it made me very upset when I'm defending my grandchildren. I have 3 more coming up besides the 2 that are in high school, so I'll be here a while. I'm all up in their lives, trust me, but I appreciate you. And this will get taken care of perhaps when we have that meeting, sir?
We've got the name.
I appreciate you. And you wanted my name and address, as you said?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, we'll talk to you after. I'll talk to you after. Just hang out for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time. Are we good?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yep, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else wishing to address the board? Hi.
Jason Snyder, 7287 Mayfair, Taylor. Just wanted to, I guess it kind of falls under good news, but and what was it, 2 weeks ago, May 21st, I think it was. There was a Special Olympics event at the Taylor Sportsplex. The support shown from everyone in the school district, from the elementary to the high school. It turned out to be a great event, very fun for all the kids, and seeing the assistant and superintendent there and supporting and all the things it took to get that thing together, it was very nice to see and be involved in, so thank you, it was a great job.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, anyone else?
I just had a quick question. Is there a plan to hire a new Kim Berkey, like a school improvement coordinator? Do you happen to know?
So, we just put that posting out as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know, because I didn't know she was leaving, so I just wondered if you guys.
Yeah, I just had to rack my brain for a second. I'm like, I
Yep.
think that went up this week, so yes.
Yeah, it went out, I read it today.
And she's elementary curriculum? Is that what she was under?
That is her current role, and I don't know if they're
Is that what
planning on
the-
moving anything yet on that, but I think our intent is to keep it the same, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone online? All right, then we shall move on to board member comments.
I did the fifth grade track and field meet last week. That was pretty neat. Myers Elementary won the overall championship with, I don't remember, I thought Mr. Brown was going to talk about it, so I didn't write anything down.
Yeah.
But I remember Myers was the overall champion. A lot of good little athletes coming up.
Great. Anyone else?
Yeah, I got to go, I think it was on Thursday, to Clarence Randall. All the third graders did a nice showcase, and they worked a lot on it. I guess they worked for weeks on it, for Michigan-made products. And it's becoming a thing in other districts, I hear, too. So what do you think the number one Michigan-made product, at least when I walked around, I tried to count them the best I could, you know? But what do you think the number one thing the kids picked was for a Michigan-made product? Anyone want to guess?
Better made chips.
That was number two. Better Made Chips was number two. But number one,
Faygo Pop.
Stroh's ice cream.
Stroh's was up there. What was that? Faygo. Yep.
Faygo,
It was
yep.
Faygo, yeah. Yeah, there was so much Faygo. I was like, okay, Faygo it is.
I went to that last year and it was great, but I missed it this year, so thanks for sharing.
You mean none of the
that.
kids came in with asparagus, although that's one of our largest crops in the state?
Asparagus?
Yeah, no, I didn't see any asparagus, no. A lot of Little Caesars, but no asparagus this time, no. That's all.
I just wanted to say that the graduation went really well, and congrats to all of our seniors who graduated this year. It might be time for us to start looking at potentially a larger venue if possible, as we seem to have a bit of a cramped issue once everyone finally filed in. So just something to keep an eye out for.
Yep, I attended commencement ceremonies, and then I was at Kenyon's Family Fun Night, which was a lot of kids, students there, and a lot of fun. Anyone else?
I just agree with Corey. Congratulations to all the seniors. I also want to commend those. I heard a lot of students going into the police academy. I was especially shocked by the amount of females that are going into the police academy. So
I
that
think there was about 5 of them, wasn't
yeah,
there?
that was pretty cool to hear. So just best wishes to all of the seniors and all that they are getting ready to start in their next chapter. So enjoy your summer.
Yep. No one else? Okay. And this is up to you.
All right, adjournment to closed session, policy number 0137.2. Pursuant to the Michigan Open Meetings Act as amended, I move the Board of Education convene in closed session to consider materials exempt from public disclosure under Section 8H of the Open Meetings Act. Is there a motion?
We also have security planning to address threats in there that we'll be discussing in the back room.
Okay.
So it's
Thanks.
Adding
Is
this.
that 8?
it's section 81K.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which is covering both things.
Yeah, so section 81H covers material exempt from disclosure, such as things that are not subject to the Freedom of Information Act, like attorney-client privilege documents. And section 81K addresses security planning to address existing or potential threats.
Motion. Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there a second? Support. Support by Mr. Morris. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
That passes 7-0. We are going into closed session at 8:14 PM.
Thank you. Go home.
Yes.